Good afternoon everyone. So can you hear me properly? Okay. So welcome back to your biology theory class, and I have started the discussion of the chapter human reproduction, and in my previous classes I have completed up to the gametogenesis part, right? So in the previous class I have discussed about the oogenesis, and today I will start with another important part, that is menstrual cycle. Okay, so you have to know in detail about the menstrual cycle. Before that, you have to keep a basic idea about the reproductive cycle of different animals. What is menstrual cycle? Actually, it is the reproductive cycle in the female primate. Okay, before that, let me tell you one thing, that in your book, NCERT book, in the page number, you will get in the figure 3.8, you will get a schematic representation which is showing the spermatogenesis and oogenesis. Please follow these two schematic representation from the book. From that representation, you will get to know the different stages of the spermatogenesis and oogenesis, and when mitosis and meiosis type of cell divisions are taking place, and the different chromosome numbers that can be found in different developmental stages. So in case of spermatogenesis, you have seen that from the spermatogonia, primary spermatocytes will be produced, from the spermatocyte secondary spermatocyte, from secondary spermatocyte spermatid, and at the end we will get the spermatozoa. At the beginning, the spermatogonia, in the spermatogonia chromosome number was 46, but in the spermatozoa it will get reduced to 23 because due to the meiosis type of cell division. Now in case of oogenesis, from the oogonia, primary oocytes will be formed, from the primary oocytes secondary oocytes will be formed, and at the end we will get the ovum. And again the oogonia is the 40, in the chromosome number in oogonia is 46, but in case of ovum it is haploid, that is 23. Okay. So there is a schematic representation which is showing the differences between the spermatogenesis and oogenesis. Now come back again to the menstrual cycle. So what is menstrual cycle? It is the reproductive cycle that can be found in case of female primates. Okay, so particularly this menstrual cycle can be found in case of female primates. So in the class Mammalia we will get two groups, primate and non-primate. Okay, primates are actually called as primata. So primates and non-primates. So who are called as primates? The examples of primates are monkeys, apes, human beings. Okay, and in animals which are having generally four-legged animals, they are considered as non-primates. Okay, so like cow, dog, they will come under the non-primates. So first difference in between them in their reproductive cycle is, in case of primates we will get the menstrual cycle, but in case of non-primates we will get another type of reproductive cycle, that is the estrous cycle. Okay, so what are the differences that can be found in between these two cycles? So first difference we have got that menstrual cycle can be present in case of primates, and estrous cycle can be present particularly in case of non-primates. Second one is that in menstrual cycle menses will take place. So you can see here I have written a term menses. So what is the meaning of that? That after the ovulation, that means from the after the release of the ovum from the mature Graafian follicle, the endometrial lining will be ruptured and it will be released to the vagina, when bleeding will take place, and this is called as menses. So in this particular menstrual cycle menses will take place, but in case of estrous cycle menses will not occur. Okay, so you will ask me that what will happen to the endometrium in case of estrous cycle? It will get reabsorbed. Okay, so in case of second difference between the menstrual and estrous cycle is that in case of menstrual cycle menses is taking place, but in case of estrous cycle it is not there. What is the third difference? Third difference is that in case of menstrual cycle, endometrium wall will get ruptured and it will be released through the vagina. But in case of estrous cycle, the wall will be reabsorbed. Okay, so these are the basic differences between these two cycles. Now come back to our interest, that is the menstrual cycle. As I have mentioned that we are reading about the human reproduction, so you have to know the menstrual cycle which can be seen in case of human female, right? So why it is called a cycle? Okay, because the time interval of this cycle is called is as generally 28 to 29 days, and in human females this is a continuous process. That means it will start with the menstruation, and after that, after 28 days, next menstruation will come. Okay, so every month in case of human female, this process will be continuing if fertilization doesn't take place. Okay, so that is why it is called as cycle. It is a cyclical process. Now when this menstrual cycle will start, in case of human females, the menstruation is reported, it will start at the time of puberty, and this situation is called as menarche. Okay, in case of human female, at the age of the puberty, the menstrual cycle will start, and it is called as menarche. And after the age of the 45 to 50, the menstruation will stop. So the permanent stoppage of the menstrual cycle is called as menopause. Okay, so these two are the two different terms that are considered for using the starting and stopping of the menstrual cycle. Now, as I have told you that menstruation is repeated and an average interval of the 28 or 29 days, and the cycle of events starting from the one menstruation till to the next is called as menstrual cycle. Okay, now in this menstrual cycle is divided into some phases. What are those phases? First phase is, you can see that menstrual phase. First phase is menstrual phase, after that follicular phase, after that ovulatory phase, and at the end luteal phase. So what are the four main phases of the menstrual cycle? I am repeating. First one is the menstrual phase. In the menstrual phase, particularly menstruation will take place. Next phase is the follicular phase. So what is the alternative name of follicular phase? It is also called as proliferative phase. Why it is called so, I will discuss it in later on. Now next is the when ovulation is taking place, and this particular phase is called as ovulatory phase, and at the end you will get an important phase, that is the luteal phase. Now you have to know about the different events that are occurring in those different phases and the different hormones. Two types of hormones will play a role here. First one is the ovarian hormone, and the second one is the pituitary hormone. These hormones are playing role in the maintaining of the menstrual cycle. Okay, so first come with the menstrual phase. So the major events of the menstrual phase is shown in the figure. So if you follow the figure, you will get a clear idea about the different phases of the menstrual cycle. And as I have mentioned that the cycle starts with the menstrual phase, or you can call it the menstruation. So in this phase the menstrual flow occurs, and the time duration for this phase is 3 to 5 days. Okay, so you can see that I have written it within the 5 days. So the time interval or time gap in the menstrual phase is the 3 to 5 days. Okay, now in the menstrual phase, it results in the why this menstruation occurs. It results due to the breakdown of the endometrial lining of the uterus. Okay, so you can remember the female uterus. So there are different lines. So in the inner portion you will get the endometrium lining. So the endometrium lining will get ruptured, and due to the breaking of the endometrium lining of the uterus and the blood vessels which is present in the endometrium wall, which will form a liquid, and it will come throughout the vagina, and this is called as menstruation. Okay, so what will happen? The endometrium lining with the egg or ovum will be released and as it is a vascular layer, so blood vessels also be ruptured, so a fluid will be formed and it will be released through the vagina, which is called as menstruation. And menstruation only occurs if the released ovum is not fertilized. Okay, so here you will get two conditions. What will happen if the eggs get fertilized and what will happen if the egg doesn't get fertilized. So in this particular case, menstrual cycle will take place only when the egg will not get fertilized. Okay, so if the egg is fertilized, then menstruation will be stopped. Okay, so the menstrual cycle will not take place. So the menstruation, we can say the menstruation only occurs if the released ovum is not fertilized, and lack of menstruation may be the indicative of the pregnancy. Okay, if lack of menstruation is there, then we can say it is the indicative of pregnancy. That means the eggs get fertilized. Now there are some other situations like stress, poor health, different hormonal changes, and these are the different reasons for which menstruation doesn't take place at a particular time. Okay, so first indicative is the pregnancy, and after that these are the different conditions when menstruation may be stopped. Okay, now so this is all about the menstrual phase. Now come to the next phase, that is the follicular phase or proliferative phase, and the time gap is the from the 6th day to the 13th days of the menstrual cycle. So this time period is considered as follicular phase. Why? Because in this particular time period, development of follicles are taking place. As you can remember, primary follicle, secondary follicle, tertiary follicle, from that Graafian follicles will be formed. So the menstrual phase is followed by this follicular phase, and during this phase primary follicles will grow and it will be converted into Graafian follicle, and simultaneously the endometrium of the uterus regenerates through proliferation. So if you can check this one from the diagram also. In the menstrual phase, the lining of the endometrium is quite in down, but in the follicular phase, when from the primary follicles mature Graafian follicles are forming, that time proliferation of the endometrium wall is there. You can see it is regenerating. The endometrium wall is again regenerating. Okay, that is why this phase is also considered as proliferative phase. Okay. Now these changes in the ovary and the uterus induced by the changes in the levels of the pituitary and ovarian hormones. Now it is very important that how these changes are taking place, because these pituitary and ovarian hormones are playing roles in maintaining all these parts. I will discuss it later on. Let me discuss about all those phases first. After that I will tell you. So after the follicular phase, what will happen? From the mature follicle, mature Graafian follicle, the ovum will be released on the 14th day of the menstrual cycle. Okay, and this is called as ovulation. This is called as ovulation. Okay, and the phase is particularly called as ovulatory phase. So how can you determine that it is on the 14th day? So if our cycle is 28 day cycle, then we have to measure like this: 28 minus 14, so 14. So from this calculation we can say that our ovulatory phase will take place on the 14th day of the cycle. Now if any animal is having 14 days of the cycle, then its ovulation day will be 40 minus 14. Okay, so ovulatory phase can be calculated like this. Okay, so next phase, ovulation phase, is followed by the next phase, that is luteal phase. The time gap or the duration of this phase is from the 15th day to the 28 or 29 days. Okay, that means rest of the part of the cycle is called as luteal phase. Why? Because after the release of the ovum from the Graafian follicle, the remaining part of the Graafian follicle will be converted into a structure which is called as corpus luteum, and this corpus luteum will act as the endocrine gland, and from the corpus luteum we will get different hormones. which will play a role in maintaining the pregnancy. So as in this phase this corpus luteum is playing role, that is why it is called as luteal phase. Okay, clear now? So in the menstrual cycle you will get 4 main phases: menstruation, menstrual phase, follicular phase, ovulatory phase and luteal phase. Okay, and these are the different time gaps between those phases. Now come back to the different hormonal part which are playing role in the menstrual cycle. First come to the pituitary hormone, then come to the ovarian hormone. So the secretion of the gonadotropins. Gonadotropins means the hormones which will be released from the gonads. Okay, the release secretion of the gonadotropins, that means LH and FSH, which will increase during the follicular phase. So you can see from the diagram that at the beginning the level of the LH and FSH is quite low, but when this follicular phase is coming, that time their level is increasing, right? But at the before the ovulatory phase, they reach the peak level, right? So the secretion of gonadotropins LH and FSH increases gradually during the which phase? During the follicular phase they will increase gradually and they will stimulate the follicular development. As you can remember that in the follicular phase the development of the different follicles will take place, right? So it will stimulate the development of the different follicles and as well as secretion of the estrogens by the growing follicles. Okay, so another hormone will be released. So with the help of this, another hormone that is called estrogen, which will be released from the ovary, the level of the estrogen will be increased. Okay, so let me repeat that the secretion of the gonadotropins, that is FSH and LH, increase gradually during the follicular phase and it stimulates the follicular development as well as secretion of the estrogen from the growing follicles. Okay, now you can see both FSH and LH retain a peak level. So you can see that both FSH and LH retain a peak level in the middle of the cycle, that is near about the before the ovulatory phase or ovulation, which will leading to the maximum level during the mid cycle, which called the LH surge, which will induce the rupture of the Graafian follicle and thereby release of the ovum, which is called as ovulation. So here you will get a new term, that is LH surge. So before the day of the ovulation the level of the LH will reach the peak level and FSH also. So due to this reaching the peak level, what will happen? From the mature Graafian follicle the egg or ovum will be released and ovulation will take place. So and this condition is called as LH surge. Okay, what it is called as LH surge. Now this ovulatory phase is followed by the luteal phase. As you can see, the Graafian follicle will be converted into a structure which is called as corpus luteum. Now you can see that after that LH surge again decrease in the levels of these hormones are there. Okay, so that is the case of the LH and FSH hormone. Now this corpus luteum will in the luteal phase will secrete the corpus luteum secretes large amounts of progesterone, which is essential for the maintenance of the endometrium. So next part you can see in the luteal phase from the corpus luteum the another hormone which is called as progesterone will be released. So you can see that there is a high level of progesterone that can be found. Why? Because that time the endometrium will regenerate fully and it is required for maintaining the wall of the regeneration. Okay, so the corpus luteum secretes large amount of progesterone which is essential for the maintenance of the endometrium, such as endometrium is necessary for the implantation of the fertilized ovum and other events of pregnancy. So that is why this progesterone is called as pregnancy, because the high level of progesterone can be indicative of the pregnancy. Okay, and it also can be maintained. Now during the pregnancy all the events of the menstrual cycle will be stopped. right? And there will be no menstruation, but in the absence of the fertilization, the menstrual process will take place, and this process will be continued in every month. Clear? So these are the different events and the different hormones. And if fertilization, so we have got another two cases, that is what will happen if fertilization takes place and what will happen if fertilization doesn't take place. So if fertilization takes place, then the endometrium will not rupture. That means after this, the endometrium lining of the endometrium will be thick for the implantation, and if fertilization doesn't take place, then there no need of endometrium. So because implantation will not take place, so what will happen, again the rupture of the endometrium will take place, and again the same cycle with the menstruation will start. Okay, so these are the two different cases, what will happen if fertilization takes place and what will happen if fertilization doesn't take place. Okay, so these are the different events of the menstrual cycle and the different hormones which are taking part in the menstrual cycle. Now next important part from this part, which is included in your new syllabus, which is called as menstrual hygiene. So I will complete this class with this small part, that is called as menstrual hygiene. So what is the meaning of menstrual hygiene? What is the meaning of menstrual hygiene? Menstrual hygiene means a girl or a woman should maintain some hygienic condition at the time of menstruation. Why? Because if it is not maintained, then this girl or the woman may face many serious problems which are related to the infection of the reproductive tract, etc. Okay, so what we should have to maintain? First one is use sanitary napkins or clean homemade pads. Okay, first one, you have a girl or a woman should use sanitary napkins or homemade pads, and change sanitary napkins after every 4 to 5 hours as per the requirement. Okay, they need to change these sanitary napkins within the time interval 4 to 5 hours as per the requirements. Now dispose the used sanitary napkins properly, wrapping it with a used paper. Okay, so you have to very careful about the disposing of those sanitary napkins. You have to wrap it with a used paper, and then you have to throw it. Okay, and you have to dispose it, not throw it anywhere, you have to dispose it properly, and do not throw it in the drain pipe or in the toilets or in open area. Okay, do not throw those used sanitary pads in the open area or in the drains or in the toilet. And you have to wash your hands with soap. You have to keep your open vaginal part in you have to clean it with the soap, and you have to maintain this type of hygienic condition at the time of menstruation, which will come under the menstrual hygiene. Okay, so with that I am completing the menstrual cycle and menstrual hygienic part. In my next class I will discuss about the fertilization and implantation. So up to this portion, if you are having any doubt, you can ask me. Do you have? Okay, so I think you are not having any doubt. So for today that's it. Thank you and bye bye everyone.